All right, good evening, guys. Nightly strategy podcast for December 28th, 2022. We'll start with the sniper trade of the day. The most uh, the most important part of my day. So we're working with Cliff, 3 minute chart as usual. This was the close yesterday. And here is our OR3. And about 3 bars into it, it breaks down. We get a standard wrist box. Down we go. Uh, what would we call this entry? Yeah, I think of that as a collapsing dragon. What would we call that entry? To our battle drill. What would we call that entry? The legendary why not entry. Now, I think of that as a collapsing dragon also because you have that R10 wiggle and that little shelf, and then it breaks. So why not? There was, if I'd have had more bullets, there was another one there. What would we call that entry? SSC, supported spring crossing. What would we call that exit? Yeah, it's the PSOR. What would we call that entry? Not really a CD. That would be a Kata 2, actually, because what we have was these lower highs. And then across it, you could also call that a supported fall crossing, because that's going into the fall. It's probably an L as well. I think of it as a Kata 2. What would we call that exit? And we'll just call that good enough for today. See if I can get this lined up. Let's see. All right, so if I'm just totaling this up, from the first position, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6.5. 3.5, and 2, 20. So that's what 20R looks like. Plus 1, plus 1. Absolutely standard work. Collapsing Dragon. 2R battle drills. So that was sniper trade of the day today. I did some work with the swings today. So I got 8 symbols that I'm swing trading with the 30-minute window. This is Brazil. Brazil, after this last little run, I've been stalking it. I missed this Kata 2. Didn't want to chase because it was near that. I missed that PSAR. I missed this PSAR in here today because I was paying close attention to Tesla. So I have no open trade in Brazil right now, but I'm ready to get short here if that breaks. I'm ready to get long if that breaks. So I have about a 50-cent indecision zone inside there. Excuse me. Treasuries opened so we had a short from here that cashed. I missed that one. And then on this gap down and the rollover intraday yesterday, I took the standard short. It closed well. It's still here. I have a stop at 100. So I'm trying to lock in that gain on treasuries. Clean energy has just been a gift. So this short, second position, third, covered, went long, scratched, got short, added a second position, and now my stop is here at 37. That one's just massively good. I should probably put that for easy reference tomorrow. Mexico. We had a short that we covered. Took the Kata 2, which we exited. Took the Kata 2. And yesterday stopped and reversed. Today just followed through all the way, so I'm going to put a stop here. So currently short Mexico. This is one we missed. This was real estate. This short paid off really well. That long basically got out with a no lose plus dinner for 2. Missed the stop and reverse. Missed the SSC, and then missed the short today because of attention on the cliff trade. But that should have been a short today. What do I want to do tomorrow on that one? Real estate. I'll watch this one on a 3-minute tomorrow. If that fails through here, I would like to get short intraday in here with the idea that if it breaks below that price level, I can convert to a swing. So I would like to try to get started on this one on a 3-minute if it's below 83. Devon Energy, we've just had a series all the way through here. The most recent one was the SSC and cashed. Did not stop and reverse. Probably should have. This was really close to a CD today. Could have been taken as a CD. But that was late in the afternoon. So I think I'm going to start this one again tomorrow with a 3-minute. If that fails below 60.88, I want to be short on 3 minutes. Then I want to play that intraday in this region. This is all intraday, with the idea that if it falls below 59, convert to swing at less than 59. So that'll be the decision point in here. Meanwhile, that looks like a tactical trade opportunity tomorrow if we see weakness in energy. U.S. Steel had a series on this one where our SSC worked. This caught a 2, failed, and then yesterday converted to a stop and reverse. This sold off just like Cliff did today and closed poorly. So I am going to look to add swing if it goes less than 24.88. So I will take that as a trigger, and I will look to start it intraday, and then if it goes below 23.50, that will be a massive swing. And then Cliff, all we did today was, I was so impressed with that move, I just let it alone and I didn't keep a piece overnight, which probably was a mistake. But I already had the U.S. Steel short on a swing. But what do we want to do with this one? I think what we'll do is, if this fails below 16, add swing. Like, this will be a priority intraday on the 3s. But that was such an amazing sell-off, and it's right at a price level where the buyers just crushed it. I'm worried about a gap and go, so I wanted to just be clean and enjoy a night of sleep. And I'll just keep the exposure in U.S. Steel for the swing. But this will be a high price tomorrow for a trade in either direction, starting it on the 3s, and then look to add, and I will convert that to a swing if it's below 16. All right, questions on any of those? Should probably study those. That's like a hybrid workshop, intraday and swing. All right, so here's the 5-minute. So here was today's little price action. This shows you the size of the range a little cleaner. If this breaks below 375, you want to be massively short. If it breaks above 380, I want to be tactically long. And then if it breaks, say, above, call it 385, I can now start thinking about adding positions. Breaks above the 5-day high, that's a good sign. So you can see the step ladder of targets all the way up to the 10-day high. But if that 5 and 10-day low breaks tomorrow, whew, you want to smash that. And now here's the ticket on that. If it falls below today's low, you have a little window of opportunity here inside this wedge to front run the CD. So if you wait for this to collapse at 375, we would call that a collapsing dragon. So if you get short inside here, what you're really doing is front running, so that if this comes down and tests and then collapses, the collapse should be large. What you're worried about there is that, well, what if it starts, that was the trigger for that little move. That was a 1-day move. If I can get short right away, but then it doesn't reverse, this now becomes a 3-minute trade that's usable. So that's sort of if you're trading the futures. So all the dangers to the downside, there's room. That's what a 1-day up leg looks like. It could get you to here pretty easily. And if that breaks, that's not much resistance, but I would be surprised. It would be surprising to get north of 390. But if it did, you should take that as an intraday directional signal. But that's the one that signifies a Godzilla collapse. So yesterday we mentioned that if this little collapse, or if that little range from yesterday broke, look out below. And it did that. So you should have been short from 380 all the way down to 376, which was a little over a 1% move. Now, if this last little stem breaks, that's why this is really painful. Because the last time that it sold off that low, there was an intraday move that was strong, and now there's no follow through, and now it's come all the way back down to here. So you could expect to see some buying pressure on the round number of 375. I mean, there will be algorithmic buying at 375. But if the algorithmic selling punishes that, then that means this is look out below, and the size of this move is the size of that move. If it breaks below 375, 370 is the immediate target. This is really crucial timing tomorrow. On the 150, you can just see, again, that this support level here is really crucial. If that fails, then all of this stuff is worthless. And now it looks like a 1, 2, all of those ran all the way down to 356. So that's minus $20. That's a 7% move staring us in the face if that breaks. And then if 355 breaks, we're already in danger. So that would get some people's attention right there. But, in this low volume range, it's been monkeying around. What you just need to know is that's a tripwire. If that doesn't fail, then yeah, sure, it could do this, but watch out for that. Excuse me. So the S&P today, off 1.24. Diamonds were a little better at 1.14. Treasuries a little better at only minus 0.59. Tesla, for a change, ending the 7-day losing streak, bringing in 3.31. His R10 is still $1.20. He's got a 5.5 to 1 reward to risk ratio to the 10-day high. Excuse me. Tech was weaker today than the S&P at minus 1.3. Emerging markets were weaker at minus 1.46. And then IWM was weakest at 1.55. All right, let's see the symbols that were stronger. Lumber, 1.18. Blended commodities, 1.13. The cluster of FANGs, discretionary, and lumber, up to 0.6. The two ARCs, 4.7 and 5.9. Finance, VIX, and Bitcoin, minus 0.19. This is the break point between winners and losers. Only a handful of winners today. Aussie dollar, biotech, agriculture, Brazil, and Tesla. Robinhood was flat. Coinbase and Boeing, weak but not bad. And then Nvidia was the strongest semi, 0.06. Microsoft and PayPal were better than the S&P and better than tech. But meanwhile, all of the weakness today. First, we're just going to, while we're here, we're just going to notice Nvidia, Intel, and Texas Instruments. The semiconductors were basically weak today, weaker than tech. Intel and Texas Instruments. Nvidia showed some signs of life. Probably an anomaly. We'll just notice our metals were all bad today again. Alcoa was the best metal at minus 2.36. U.S. Steel was horrible at minus 4.5. And Cliff was the big loser of the day, minus 6.18. So those are my guys for the swings and the intraday tomorrow. Devon Energy also weak at 3.7. There was tech, and that's why I'm interested in the real estate short, because that's much weaker than the S&P. So it's not a defensive play today. It's in free fall. And Mexico as a short swing, because that's also worse than the S&P. If you haven't taken the Foundations course on Patreon, there's a click for a link for a $1,000 discount. You probably should take it. Pardon me. Where did I put it? Oh, there they are. Sorry. Just looking for the charts. All right, here's Satya. He's got Tesla today. So here's his OR3. It finally makes the breakout in that second bar after. So he gets his MMRB. Gets paid. tries it, sticks around long enough. He takes a bit of a hit, but is still net positive. So he used some of the cushion to give it the shot. And then he lets it come through the dragon, takes the short at the PSAR flip, gets paid on a collapsing dragon, scratches, gets paid. That's nice. That is really good work. Just taking it in measured bites. Man, that's nice. The SSC gets paid. The second one scratches, and he says, better not try to push that too much. Let's just enjoy the 3.1 that we've got. He does notice this one and the PSAR flip for an easy and quick 3.1. Really nice. My brother learned some stuff today about putting those stops in. Dug himself a bit of a hole early. Then reset. Traded his way out of that hole with a plus 10 versus the minus 6. And then finished the day plus 4. So he was working hard today. His worst trade was minus 1.6, so we can't have that. Don't forget your stops. $22 winners, 25 losers. So that's a 0.45 to 0.5 win rate. And the payoff was 8 to 5. And so that will net you 4. Net 4. So you just stay with it. Find the movers. All right, let's hit the reports. Well, I would say it's always a walk in the park, but sometimes you got mountain lions living in your park. It depends which park you're walking through. Still bearish normal. The sell-off is really starting to get problematic here. Ooh. Even, yeah, the risk Z, it's showing a compound critical state based on volatility. Merck, Coke, Procter & Gamble, and Chevron are the winners. Tesla's little one-day strength still leaves it as the number one loser over the last 10 days. Intel, Disney also showing weakness. The Dow Tactical, breakdowns in Apple, Disney. That's not the kind of information you would expect to see in a market that is healing and is poised for greatness. Those are long-term favorites of institutional money that are just collapsing. And Walmart, that's not a good sign. 5DD in Apple, 5DD in Goldman Sachs. They're getting ready to fire their CEO. That's how bad they are. Pfizer, though, on a triple screen with a 4.7 to 1. Interesting. Home Depot, yep. Weakening inside here. 4.3 to 1. I mean, there's other ones where the auto framer's bigger, but Home Depot's quietly failing. Japan weakness. The Russell crumbling. Clean energy and tech crumbling. That's why this one to me is such a no-brainer on the short. Oh. Treasuries crumbling. Tech crumbling. Consumer discretionary crumbling. This is a combination of Tesla and Home Depot and Walmart. Those are the three biggest holdings in that symbol. Just too many to even list on the auto framer. But the ones with the highest reward to risk ratio are the furthest from their 10-day high, which means that the rebound opportunity is great. But if they continue to collapse, it's a no-brainer because they've fallen the furthest. Looking at you, Tesla and Goldman. We're going to hit to the snipers real quick. Lots of stealth Godzillas in the making. Marijuana is also at pre-COVID lows. That's ready to collapse big time even further. All of these things are ready to collapse, and there's no volatility. Wait till you see that kind of horrible weakness and then starting to add some index volatility. Boy, those things will start collapsing in a hurry. Just that's the sound of silence. The lack of one-day volatility is really profound. I mean, these are the biggest one-day movers, and there's only 5 out of the S&P 500, 6, that moved larger than 1 sigma. So this is a slow, steady bleed. We haven't even introduced a volatility gasoline on that fire yet. That's what I'm saying. That if that 30-day low breaks, whew, watch out below. Normal stats. That tells you the tail of the tape right there. What kind of day it was. All of that badness. Look out below. Intraday trading with targeted swings for the longer term losers. All right, that's everything we got for today. Let's get this published and posted, and we'll be ready for tomorrow.